Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is CoachFury here, and today we are going back into the world of Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 21 with our Chicago Bulls Let's Play series, episode 6. We're slowly chugging along at the minute because we've had a pretty hectic trade deadline so far. For those of you who followed the other episodes that have happened prior to this, you'll be well aware that we've completed quite a lot of trades, quite a lot of big trades actually as well. So we obviously brought in Eric Bledsoe as part of a deal. If we go to him, we can have a look if I can find him in terms of transactions. So you can see here we sent Zach LaVine away for Bledsoe and a couple of first round picks, which was a bold move. And granted, I think everyone who's commented on that particular episode said obviously it was a bold move to make, moving LaVine, who's probably one of the better Chicago Bulls players we've had this season, for Bledsoe and 2 first round picks. Reason being is I think Bledsoe's probably our best point guard now, and 2 first round picks for anyone, I'll certainly take that outside of someone like LeBron James or Anthony Davis. So no brainer for me in that opinion. Lauri Markkanen was the other guy that we moved on. But in terms of LaVine, I mean, I felt that this team, whilst needed that offense from LaVine, I felt that getting 2 first round picks, 2 young prospects coming through, Bledsoe, who we'll have for a couple of seasons probably, is a good balance for us to take going forward. And the other deal we decided to take was a pretty substantial deal, which was moving Lauri Markkanen, our first and second round pick, first round pick this year and second round pick in a couple of years' time, for Jaren Jackson and Bradley Clark. For me, no brainer. Brandon Clark we've got for 3 years. He's a phenomenal player already, to be perfectly honest with you. I love his defensive ability. He can do a bit of everything. We've got him locked down on a nice deal for 3 years. And Jaren Jackson Jr., who we've got for 2 years, but still I think a phenomenal defender. And it means now that we probably have one of the best young front courts in the league. That is massive. We can really place that now, and I'm really excited to see how that works. And you can see that I've basically gone through and sorted out the depth chart for that. I mean, we've got Brandon Clark and Carter Jr. as our front court, with Jackson off the bench basically supporting them, playing heavy minutes. And then Temples, Santaratsky and Williams sort of our main bench core. And then Young is going to start at small forward. He's been doing okay there for us, so I'm happy to leave him there. It means White, who is probably not the best point guard at this stage of his career, needs that passing ability to come back up. It moves into sort of a backup sort of shooting guard option for us, and it means Bledsoe can kind of take the main ball handling duties for us, given that he is a slightly better passer of the ball. So I'm really happy with this, and I don't think we're going to make any more moves at the trade deadline. I think we're going to just move on now from this. I couldn't get anything else done. For those who've been watching, the other guys that we sort of looked to shop around really was the likes of Otto Porter Jr. and his $28 million sort of salary. Nobody obviously wanted to take that. I'm not surprised. He pretty much at this point is a rotation player at best. I did shop Patrick Williams just because I felt, given his potential and he's not necessarily doing that well for us, someone might be interested in taking a flyer on him. I mean, we've got him for a couple of seasons. We'll try and work and develop him and see what happens there. And the other guy I did offer around Thaddeus Young, because I think he's been doing okay for us this season. I mean, his shooting numbers are not spectacular, but given he's on sort of a 2-year, $30 million deal, I mean, if we were able to flip that out, that would have been great. It would have given us some more cap for the off season. But it does mean that we have quite a nice cap situation going into the off season, though, is we will have cap to play with. We don't have any real major guys that we want to bring back who are expiring, so that gives us a nice little setup going into that off season. But clearly we're not focusing on the off season at this moment in time. We are focusing purely on trying to get this Bulls team into the playoffs. We are 26 and 28. We're in great shape. I think we've made some transactions that have improved the roster, not just in the future with young players, but also now. So I'm really looking forward to that. We've obviously changed our strategy up. We're going for grind because we have those great front court players that we need to utilise. So we're going to do that. We're going to keep switching on defence and see how that goes. But we're going to get past the trade deadline, I think, now. We've got 3 days away. If we get a trade off, we'll review it. But other than that, we're not going to shop anyone else. So let's move on. Let's get ourselves past this trade deadline and into the All-Star game. We'll probably look at the All-Star game for today's episode. So we've got a game against the Bulls coming up. Can we get that win? We get a nice, very nice win, and there's a whole bunch of trades that just happened as well, so we will certainly have to look at that. But the Bulls, we managed to get a nice win here against Washington. We played some phenomenal offense. Look at that, Jaren Jackson Jr., 11 of 15 off the bench with 31 points. Can't complain with that at all. That was a really, really good offensive performance from all of our guys. Clark with 26 points. That's just awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff for us. So we will have a little look at seeing what the trades are, see what transactions went down, because a lot of them went down there on the sort of day before the deadline. My goodness me, there was quite a lot. Okay, so I think Derrick Rose has gone to the Celtics for Naismith and Williams and a second round pick. Released there. Jarrett Allen, LeVert and Bruce has gone for Fred VanVleet and a first round pick. That's probably a nice pickup actually for Brooklyn there. It means that they're going to have an Irving and VanVleet backcourt. That's pretty nice. They did have to give up a nice prospect in Allen though to get that done. Stanley Johnson got released, not surprising. What else we got? Fareed has gone to the 76ers, which is interesting because do they really need another front court player? And Maxey, he was packaged with a second round pick. Oladipo went to the Magic. That's a nice pickup. I think Oladipo is still pretty underrated. He's a good shooter. I mean, he's a nice backcourt player. I'd love to get him in. It'll be a nice experienced guy. He could probably play and sort of flitter around the bench and around the around the bench and around sort of 6-man sort of position. And he is expiring next year, so we'll have a little look at him in the off season, I think. Oyenka went to the Jazz for Bogdanovic in a second. For those of you who've been following on GM Games, my LaMelo Let's Play, Oyenka is a really good player. I really do like him. Good defensive centre, but we don't need him, so that's fine. DeMarcus Cousins got traded out of our Houston back to Golden State for a second round pick for Eric Paschal. Okay, DeMarcus Cousins going back to the Warriors is interesting. The Clippers have also traded for Kevin Love. Okay, so Love actually finally got a move in the end. They're going to have to pay a pretty sizable contract for him going forward. But he's putting up some good numbers. They didn't have to give up a lot other than Patrick Beverley. I mean, I do like Patrick Beverley. I think he's an underrated player. Exum got released. There's not a lot else though. So a couple of big names got moved there. We have something in the inbox. Let's check. Is that a trade offer? No, it's just a trade rumour. We'll just admit that so he can relax. And I don't think we're going to get any more trade offers. Do we have a game today? I don't think we do, so we'll move on. I think that gets us to the trade deadline, and a whole other load of trades have just happened. Wow, it's been a very active trade deadline in this league. Jamal Crawford got released. Okay, he's probably at the end of his career, 40 years old. Yeah, Dion Waiters got. Did he get signed? Yeah, they picked up Dion Waiters and released Crawford. That's expected. Gasol, Galloway, Morris went for Belisa and a second round pick. So Belisa's a pretty nice stretch four. Surprised they dealt Gasol though. They kind of needed that front court, and Morris has gone as well, who's then immediately been released as well by the Kings there. What else have we got? So we got the Gorgie Jeng and the second round pick's gone for Paul Millsap. So an older Paul Millsap and Boyle Boy. Okay, that's a strange sort of move there. The Hawks have also gone and got Mike Conley and a first round pick out of it. But I'm guessing Cam Reddish is probably the main piece in this. So they managed to get a nice little deal there. And Hunter. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal actually for them. And Snell immediately got released as well. Jonas Jerebko's gone to the Bucks. He's been signed there. Larry Nance Jr. has gone to the Bucks as well. They've packaged, got some front court players. Duncan Robinson's gone to the Pacers. That's a nice move. I like that by the Pacers, picking up a sort of 3-in sort of a wing sort of guy, really, wing sort of shooter. And Kemba Walker got swapped for Kyle Lowry. That's interesting. That's a very interesting trade. Well, I think for me, I'd say the Celtics got a steal out of that one, to be honest with you, because Walker is not the best player anymore. Still, he's putting up some okay numbers, but I prefer Kyle Lowry. I think Kyle Lowry is probably, if you're trying to win now, Kyle Lowry is probably the best piece out of that to get. So we have another couple of inbox messages. We have a couple of trade offers. So they want to send Cameron Johnson for Garrett Temple and a second round pick. what does Cameron Johnson look like? I don't even know, to be honest. Let's have a little look. So we do have a couple of deadline offers we need to have a little look at. Cameron Johnson, yeah, not the best prospect. I'm not necessarily worried about that. I think Temple's probably a bit more valuable for us at this moment in time. And yeah, okay, a trade rumour. And we've got a trade offer here of Teague and Kembelinge from the Clippers for Garrett Temple and a second round pick. Let's have a little look. Teague, what does Teague look like? He's probably a bit old at this point. Yeah, he's a 2-star bench guy, and yeah, okay, we're not going to take any of those, to be perfectly honest. None of those are really helpful for us. I think Temple is probably a better player for us now at this moment in time. He's obviously expiring. He's a good sort of bench player, though, to be honest, to have. I mean, I wonder what he wants to re-sign. Would be an interesting question to ask if we can re-sign him. So he's not extension eligible anyway. I think we'll leave that and we'll move on. So the trade deadline is going to end after this. We've got no more trades to do. We will get ourselves going forward to the All-Star game though, which I believe is on the 16th of February. So we'll move ourselves forward to that date. Oh, but we can look at that. There's now even a button to do that. So we can sim to the All-Star game. We'll obviously stop if we get an injury of such, but we'll carry on. So we get a nice win there against Charlotte. That's good. Bledsoe 21 and 13 there. Lost to Phoenix, but Phoenix are really good in this game. Beat Washington. Some nice numbers there again by Bledsoe. Lost to Oklahoma, so we're sort of middling in sort of 0.500 territory still as we get to the All-Star game. So we are, I believe, sort of 0.500 in terms of standings. Let's have a little look. In terms of our division, we are third in our division. We are 8th seed at the minute, 29 and 30. We do have a nice gap though between us and the Raptors. So hopefully we can keep and maintain that through the rest of the season. But All-Star weekend, let's do it. So do we have anyone on the 3-point or on the dunk contest? I don't believe we do. Quickly scanning across. So let's just have a look and see who won those. So in terms of the dunk contest, Isaac won that. We had nobody in there. Let's go back to the games and have a look at 3-point contest. So we didn't have anyone in that either. But no surprise, Steph Curry won that one. So we move on to the rookie-sophomore game. I would expect us to have a couple of guys in this. Let's have a look. So the rookies beat the sophomores. That's interesting in itself. In terms of the rookies, do we have anyone on here? Don't think we do. No. No, in terms of sophomores, do we have anyone on here? So we have Clark. I can see Clark. Clark came off the bench and put up some okay numbers. 4 of 6. That's not too bad. Nobody else though. That's surprising. I did think we would have someone else in here. Who else have we actually got who's actually would be considered for this? So Patrick Williams didn't make it. Did Gafford? I didn't see Gafford or White. Let's go back and double check. Gafford or White? I didn't see either of them in there. No, so only Gafford. There he is. So Gafford made it. Interestingly, as a starter. That's bizarre. Okay. But White didn't make it. Oh no, he did. There he is. There we go. So we had 3 guys on the sophomores team who actually lost. We didn't have any rookies in there, I don't think. No, I don't think so. Okay. So let's go and watch the All-Star game and to end this episode and see who actually made the All-Star game. We won't control anything, obviously. Actually, before we do that, we'll do a very quick save just in case we get a crash, because that's a notorious crash point is the All-Star game. So here's the starters for the All-Star game. In the Eastern Conference, we have Trae Young, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant, and Joel Embiid. And on the West, we have Luka Doncic, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, and Karl Anthony Towns. So interestingly, LeBron James didn't make the starter. Kawhi Leonard must have beaten him out there. But let's dive in and watch the game and see how it goes. We'll obviously speed it up to begin with, and as we get towards the end of the fourth quarter, we'll certainly see whether this is a close game or not. But normally is a really high scoring games and not much offense played in these, even in this draft day sports simulation. But it looks like it's pretty neck and neck actually in the first quarter. Neither team putting up much in terms of points. The Eastern All-Stars taking a little bit of a lead. Vucevic is coming. James is off the bench. Williams off the bench. Jokic, Levine. Oh, Levine made the All-Star game. That's interesting. Guy we traded, obviously. We talked about at the beginning of the episode. Lillard, and then we've got Westbrook, Oladipo, Middleton, and Tatum and Vucevic. So, yeah, so a couple of guys who got traded there in terms of Oladipo, Levine, all got traded. And it's made the All-Star game still. So we get to the end of the first quarter. The Eastern All-Stars are stretching out a slight lead here. DeRozan's interestingly come in as a power forward. Okay, that's a strange decision. Tatum is also playing a power forward briefly there. So they kind of, both teams went small ball there at one stage. But it looks like the Eastern All-Stars are sort of still keeping this one ahead. And now, as soon as I say that, the Western All-Stars take a lead. James Harden's 4 of 7 though, 11 points already. LeBron James is 3 of 4 with 5 assists. We'll certainly do a recap at half time and see how the stats look. But it's been a pretty much an offense and no defense game, to be honest with you. Both teams shooting over 50%. 3-pointers being thrown up a little bit as well. Although the Eastern All-Stars have more turnovers than the Western All-Stars. I do like the fact though with this game, even the All-Star game, you get their jerseys of the actual teams. That's pretty awesome. I like that. I do like that in here. Okay, so halftime report. Let's have a look and see how it looks. So Jokic is currently player of the game with 18 points and 3 rebounds. James Harden's got 13 points as well. Lillard with 12 points off the bench. So yeah, okay, just a pretty open offensive game at this point. Both teams shooting well. Vucevic shooting very well as well. Butler having a good game, although his plus minus is terrible. Interesting, Trae Young has only played 10 minutes and only shot one. I mean, he's the league's leading points per game scorer, and Giannis is coming off the bench and only played 4 minutes, which is really surprising. Maybe the rotations are what's killing the Eastern All-Stars at this moment in time. A bit of a strange rotation, really. You'd probably want Durant in at small forward and then Giannis in at maybe power forward and really go for it with the best players in the Eastern Conference. But maybe that's the way it goes in the All-Star game. You get voting, don't you? But I guess it's surprising that LeBron James didn't get a vote to start. I mean, that's a bit odd for me over Kawhi Leonard. But yeah. Obviously, the All-Star game now is where they basically pick them, don't they, off of the list. And they don't really have an East and West All-Stars anymore. They have a sort of LeBron team and Giannis team, didn't they, I think, this year. But yeah, high-scoring game, though. 97-96 as we get towards the end of the third quarter here. Going to probably be about a 140-point game, I imagine, at this point. Giannis has come in for a small amount of minutes. But it's neck and neck, though, 102 apiece. Harden with 23 points now. Doncic is having a poor shooting night, 4 of 12. Towns has looked alright, actually, 7 of 10. And Giannis has gone in at centre now at this point. The Western All-Stars start to take a bit of a lead now. Oladipo having a poor night as well, 1 of 3 off the bench. Yeah, interesting. DeRozan's played multiple positions in this game. Steph Curry's coming now as well. Steph's getting some minutes in there. But it looks like to me that the Western All-Stars are going to take this one quite comfortably now at this point. 14-point lead. Several minutes left now. We can slow down the last little bit, I think. if it'll let me. It seems to have a mind of its own now. The buttons are not working. Okay, well, I can't slow it down. But the Western All-Stars one, they've managed to put up 151 points. As we get to the last shot of the game, Steph Curry puts it up to end it. And James Harden took player of the game. 23 points, 8 assists, 2 rebounds, a block and 3 steals. It's not a bad performance at all. Bench didn't really put up too much for them, whereas actually on the Eastern All-Stars they had to play a little bit more of the bench. Interestingly, that Embiid obviously took it very seriously. He managed to foul out in 26 minutes. So yeah, only player to foul out in the All-Star game, which is interesting. But yeah, okay, interesting. Irving did not play. I'm guessing he might have been injured. But yeah, there we go. There you have it. The Western All-Stars have taken the All-Star game for this season. And that brings us to a wrap for this episode. We will come back next time with the Chicago Bulls and we'll plough ourselves through to the playoffs. Hopefully we'll be in the playoff hunt and we'll keep up our form and get ourselves in there and be in with a shout. You never know when you get there. But, you know, some solid trades we've had the past couple of episodes. I'm really excited for this young roster to see how we perform in a bit of a longer stretch than we've had so far. I just think that front court is going to be awesome. I think there's not going to be many teams that can compete with us in that front court. And we'll see how it plays out. But always interested to hear your comments. Do you think we're playing the right type of strategy? Is this the rotation that you would play? Would you maybe tighten it up a bit more? Interested to hear your thoughts. And as always, if you've enjoyed the episode, hit that like button and the subscribe button, because then you can follow the episodes as they come out each week, as soon as they go up.